Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Moving with Mosley. I'm Anthony Mosley, and today we're going to talk about my top 5 easy curb appeal tips to make the front of your home look spectacular. Curb appeal, what is it? Well, basic definition is standing from the curb looking at your house is the home appealing? Does it look like it's in good repair? Does it appear as though that you've been taking care of the outside? Today's top 5 tips are going to help you with that, especially when selling your home. Or perhaps maybe your neighbor's been staring at your house a little too long and you need to do something about it. So top tip number 1 we're going to talk about is the lawn. In the summer and springtime, maybe even into the fall, you want to make sure that the grass looks green. Are there weeds? Are there dandelions everywhere? Is the driveway edged? Perhaps even the sidewalk? You know, another thing to consider when the lawn has been mowed is making sure that the grass clippings have been removed. The reason for that is once the grass is mowed and the grass clippings lay there, you've got green grass here and you have the dead clippings laying over here, so it doesn't look very appealing. Top curb appeal tip number 2 is the landscaping. Now that the yard is all mowed and the grass clippings are all picked up and everything is edged, take a look at the mulch or perhaps rocks or the flower beds. So when looking at the home, are the flowers blooming or are they dead and dying? Do you perhaps need to go to the hardware store or a local garden shop, pick out some new perennials, stick them in the flower bed, and then of course spread new mulch around. A lot of home buyers, when they see homes, they want to see that crisp, vibrant color, something that is appealing and that dances out to the eye. Not just the home there, but actually in front of the home or even around a tree. Something to consider, another little detail, is a lot of the flower beds or perhaps the trimming that goes around the tree in which the mulch is inside, is there's edging around there. Is the grass overgrown or does that need to be all removed, cleaned off, and then reinstalled? Top curb appeal tip number 3, we're talking about disrepair. As you're looking at the home, is everything as it should be? Is there any missing or cracked siding? Is any of the brick spalling? Perhaps do you need to put on a fresh coat of paint on the wood siding? So as a buyer's coming up to a property, or perhaps that neighbor across the street has mentioned it many times, as they're looking at the front of the home, is everything as it should be? The day that it was installed, painted, those types of things are very important because when someone's walking up to the home, if anything is in disrepair, again, like cracked or chipping or what have you, they're going to start making a list subconsciously in their mind of the things that need to be fixed in the home if it's something they want to purchase. It also means that if they're going to offer on the home, they could be thinking, I'm going to offer less because of this or perhaps this. So something to consider is if your house is facing directly east, or perhaps directly west, especially when the sun rises in the morning, it can bleach certain colors. And as it sets in the west, it can bleach certain colors. So consider a fresh coat of paint. Consider taking some of the trim off of the garage, spraying a fresh coat of paint on that, and then reinstalling. So as we're walking closer to the house, we come from the curb to the lawn, to the landscaping, now up closer to the house. Is everything in good repair as it should be? So we're a little over halfway through our top 5 easy curb appeal tips. As you'll notice, we started at the curb, got a little bit closer into the lawn, got a little bit closer into the landscaping. Now we're up tight to the house and everything's been repaired, painted, touched up. And maybe at this point you may say, Anthony, everything on the outside is just fine. I would encourage you to take another deeper, closer look. You'd be surprised, and we're going to talk about top tip number 4, is how dirty the outside of your house actually is. When was the last time you washed it off? When was the last time you cleaned off spider webs or cleaned off that old bird's nest down from the gutters? Making sure those things, now that people are up closer to the house, people can really start to pay attention to those details. So top tip number 4, clean the outside of your house. All right, everybody, here we are. We made it to top easy curb appeal tip number 5. And in my opinion, as a realtor, is the most important tip of all of the ones we've discussed today. Anthony, what is it? I gotta know. The number 5 tip is sprucing up the front entryway. Anthony, front entryway? I thought we were talking about curb appeal. We are, my friends. And in fact, this tip actually has 3 parts. So write these things down, if you will. 2 of the things that you can see from the curb are a potted plant and the front door. Okay, so the potted plant. It's not a necessity, but in my opinion, it's something that is appealing, that draw people to the front door. They see that's where they're going to go into. So having a nice, good, sharp-looking potted plant in a nice vase out on the front entryway will help spruce it up and give better curb appeal to the front entryway section of the whole front of the house. The second thing is the front door. Paint the front door. I understand that your HOA or your POA may require you to paint it a certain color. That's no matter. The purpose is a wreath, the kids, a pet, something may have scratched that front door that you can see from the curb, definitely once you get up to it, but painting that is something that as you're looking at that house, it's sharp and it's clean. Definitely paint the front door. All right. So what's the third part of top tip number 5? Now we've got them away from the curb. Now we've got the buyer up the landscaping, past all the repairs, buy this thing, that, or the other. What is the last and final thing? Is the front entry welcome mat. Now, you might have a welcome mat that's there and it's worked for years. That's fine and dandy, but throw that thing away, go invest 15 to 20 bucks and get a new entry mat that says, welcome home. Think about that for a second. What we're wanting to do with all of this curb appeal in the first place is to make them feel welcome, is to have them think, I can turn this house into a home. While they're standing there at the front door, waiting for the realtor to fumble with the key and unlock the lockbox. Sellers, it may only be a couple of seconds, but that buyer's standing there and they're looking around and they're saying, do we feel welcome here? Do our friends, could our family, could our kids, could people come up to this home and feel welcome here? The front entry mat will say, welcome home. It's the last impression you have as a seller, welcoming people from the curb into your home. That's top tip number 5. So there you have it. We've talked about 5 easy curb appeal tips, my 5 easy curb appeal tips that you can do to take a friend, a buyer, maybe that pesky neighbor across the street that's been talking about the outside of your house, to bring some curb appeal to the front of your home, especially if you're selling. Thanks again for watching Moving with Mosley. I'm Anthony Mosley. Our next video, we're going to talk about tips and tricks to do inside the home. Have a fantastic day.